Hey guys, good morning. Welcome to Mr. Smith's Kitchen. I'm Brian. Mr. Smith, it's my kitchen. If you're new to my channel, welcome. Glad you found me. If you're returning, thank you and welcome always. Uh, don't forget to subscribe. Hit thumbs up, thumbs down if you like. Notification bell's right by the subscribe button. That way, if you wish, you know when my videos come out. And you can check me out. So this morning, it's Tuesday, and I was hoping to have a video out on what we've been doing out in the garage, building up new shelves to suit our needs. We're building shelves from scratch, and it sounds kind of boring, but you can learn something out of it. If nothing else, the importance of working with wood and tools, and plus I just ramble about some other stuff. But anyhow, that being said, as you know, I like to ramble. Feel free to leave comments down below. I love comments, respond to all of them. Just be nice. Think before you type, so to speak. Well, this morning, I wanted to wish you a Happy New Year. I hope you guys had a good holiday, good holidays. They're over now. It's time to get back to the normal everyday grind. Another year's passed. Hasn't been a very good one. Back in the end of 2020, beginning of 2021, everybody was hoping 2021 would be a good year. And it's been okay. In my world, nothing changed. Nothing's changed in 2 years. In case you hadn't heard, we are still in the middle of a pandemic. Here in the U.S., we've lost over 800,000 people, due to COVID. And some of it, there was a lot of the elderly, the poor, which I have a whole thought behind that also, But one thing that has changed, and I don't know if it's for the best, is the way we've been acting towards each other. I work with the public 5 days a week. I'm out in the public 7 days a week in some form or fashion. And people they're just not being respectful as much anymore. Now, that being said, I have met lots of respectful people, but if you watch the news, and I don't jump on social media a whole lot. I don't, I pretty much, when it comes to TV and watching the news, I literally watch the morning local news, and I watch an hour or so of the national news, but it just seems like we're not playing nice. Global warming's getting worse. Colorado is just on fire. It seems like the entire state, and I pray on a regular basis for those people at the moment. And we've got droughts everywhere. So, and I know it's global warming. And if you say, I've said this before, if you say global warming doesn't exist, you're wrong. Global warming happens naturally. That's what causes ice ages, and we've had 3 of them that I'm aware of in the history of the world. Not in our time, but in time, over how many ever bazillion years the world's been around, the planet's been around. So it does happen. We just are speeding it up. But we've got snowstorms to beat the band. We've got fires. We've got droughts. We've got major tornadoes that have happened this year. You can't tell me that we're not breaking the planet. And I'm not picking sides, but at the same time, I would like to. We talk about, we don't want the national debt to go up so high because we don't want our grandchildren and great-grandchildren having to pay off our debts, which that's a topic where I touched on, but it could be a whole other story in itself again. We have to have that same mentality for our planet. Because if we keep going like we're going, there's not going to be a planet left for our great-grandkids. At least not my great-grandkids, great-great-grandkids at most. So we need to think about what we're doing. Whether that's, sustainable farming, which we've talked about, growing your own. Um, and of course, in a way, we might be okay just because between the pandemic and the people who are dying now are the unvaccinated. For the most part, in the beginning, it didn't discriminate at all. But those of us that have been vaccinated and got our boosters, we're in pretty good shape. I'm not gonna say that you can't end up deadly ill to it still, but the chances are so slim. I mean, so slim. It's like 1/100th of 1% that you'll be, sick enough to cause death um, if you've been vaccinated and have the booster. But like 99 point change percent of the people in the hospital that are dying from COVID still, are unvaccinated. So I don't understand not being vaccinated. There's always been a small percentage of people who don't believe in vaccines. Don't get their kids vaccinated, which I don't understand how you get into school without that, because I know they wouldn't let, Sarah and Abby and Taylor and Brian go to school without vaccinations, a vaccination record. We had to provide proof of that before they could even start school. But whatever. But I don't get why so many still. We've been over a year now with the vaccine. We've been a whole year with vaccine, and there are a lot of people vaccinated, but not enough. We should be, you can't use it hasn't been around long enough for me to know. It's been around for over a year now. If it was going to do damage, it would have done it. If they were going to put microchips in it, we would already be being controlled. There's not a reason to do it. Not at all when it comes to that. So we got, people still dying from the pandemic, mostly due to just stubbornness. We seem to be fighting an awful lot and killing each other an awful lot. So we've got the pandemic killing us. Murder rates are up. Mass shootings are up. Just in Columbus, Ohio, we live right outside of Columbus. There were over 200 shootings this year. I mean, we break a new record every year for the amount of shootings and killings that happen. And we had 200 senseless deaths this year. A lot of them kids, 18 and under. Which is insane. That blows my mind. I don't understand what's going on that's causing this to happen. And they say that, they started school programs and then after school programs and things like that, community programs to help the kids from boredom, to keep them occupied, which, a ball of sorts and, a little street ball could cure boredom. Hop on a bike and take off and ride, go for a walk, whatever. Those will cure boredom. I think we've forgotten how to teach our kids how to play outside. And have a good time with it. Give them distractions, climb a tree, ride a bike, build a clubhouse, play some ball, whatever, hula hoop, rollerblade, roller skate, skateboard. There's a million and one things you could do besides shooting each other. So we've got the pandemic taking us out. We're killing each other. Birth rates have slowed down. People just aren't having kids, which I kind of get it. If I were a young person, I'd rethink having kids too. It's scary out there. I don't know if this is a world and this is my opinion, a world that we should be bringing more people into. We can't get it right. All we do is fight amongst ourselves, it seems like. Now, people are polite at the grocery store, things like that. But, it just doesn't seem right. Or, I think the problem is the U.S., in my opinion, and this is just an observation, seems like somebody who has really bad ADD. We have so many projects we're working on that we can't get them accomplished. It's like we start projects and stop them. And that I think has caused so many more problems. There's always a battle on something. We have yet to fix anything. As a country, we run like our government does. whole lot of talk, whole lot of hype from an individual, but unless they can get the other people to agree with it, nothing happens. And our government, I mean, it runs slow by design, which I don't think is the best thing at times either, because we try to please everybody, and you can't please everybody, good or bad. Lord knows there have been plenty of times on a national, federal level where I wouldn't have been happy, but the majority of the people we elected said that's what we want. Of course, I have I take some issue with the people we have elected. We have inherently put, a bunch of old people, old white guys, in charge of our country. And I don't know if that is exactly the way to go. I honestly believe there should be term limits on every position in our federal government of importance, all three branches. I don't think that you should have somebody who is 70, 80 years old in an office that makes decisions that can affect an entire nation. I don't believe that. I think our current president, even though I think he's an okay guy, I think he's way too old to be president. I think our House majority leaders and our Senate majority leaders and minority leaders, too old. And here's why. I'm not saying they're not of sound mind. They are, I mean, for the most part, but their beliefs are different to what our nation has become, or the direction we want to go. They grew up and had their, I don't want to say glory days, but their peak days in a different time period. And that's just the truth. I think if you were older than 60, you shouldn't be in federal office. Maybe 65. I mean, retirement age, well, up until this last year, or a year or two ago, was 65 years old. You retired at 65. You collected Social Security at 65. Now it's, I think, 70. Too old. But I don't, I think that would help. Personally, I mean, I see a lot of issues, good, bad, or indifferent, that the majority of the country wants to be one way, and yet a handful of people in our government have decided it should be the other way. Not cool. Even with like the infrastructure bill we just passed, biggest infrastructure bill in America's history, and we need it, hands down. Our roads are falling apart. Everything's just old and falling apart. But the realization of it is, even though we passed it today, it'll probably be 5-6 years before we even see a project start, and it'll be another 15 after that before they get accomplished. There's a good possibility that what we just passed, I won't see until I'm in my 70s. That's a very real possibility. That should be a cause for concern, in that aspect. But, we need to change the way we do things. I mean, just hands down the way we do things. I think, like I said, these are all my opinions today. I just need to really ramble and get some of these thoughts out of my head, because these are things I've been thinking. So New Year's resolutions. Last year I didn't do too bad for last year. I didn't set many resolutions to go, with my program. The only thing I don't think I was able to get to, and a lot of it was just because of the pandemic, was volunteering, to at a shelter, or a food pantry or something like that. That I was not able to do. Although I did serve millions of people food, with a smile, even though I got yelled at almost every day because people have become unhappy and miserable. And in some ways I get it, especially over the beginning of the last year when the pandemic was just hard hitting. And I mean, not that it's not hard hitting now, we're losing on average, 300,000 people a day are getting sick. Hospitals are still overwhelmed, but we I didn't get that accomplished this year. So I mean, I can put it, or last year, so I'll put it on this year. But I did lose weight. I have grown my channel, and those were like the big hitters, of the year. This year, other than just to keep losing weight, I don't have, my goals haven't really changed any. I still want to grow my channel. I would still like to go start volunteering somewhere, and hopefully, between work and just life in general, that can happen. But plans for the channel this year, like I said, I still want to grow the channel, and I know we've got some projects coming up that will that we're going to be doing. I mean, as far as the channel goes this year, I mean, we're still going to cook, we're still going to bake, but due to our accident with the fish tanks, I've got a new tank that we're going to start looking at some new fish for. Chris is wanting to do some frogs, so we're going to do a tank for them, and then we're going to set a tank up, a smaller tank up here in the living room, and we're going to do some puffer fish. I think in the one tank down in the basement, we're going to do some Julie eyes. They're small cichlid. They're gorgeous. They're fun. They're happy. And we're going to do some loaches. Probably some dwarf loaches like the ones I had in my community tank downstairs. I've only got one left now due to our mishap a couple weeks ago, which the tanks are starting to look good. And that makes me happy. I mean, they're cleared up. Everybody seems to be back to normal again. And that's awesome. I mean, the damage is done, obviously, but we're there. This year I hope to, at least as far as projects going forward goes, we're gonna keep working out in the garage. We need to get some shelves built. We can finish up the set of shelves that we're building now, which are the big chunk of it, and then we have to build some more shelves, get some stuff organized, and which you'll see the shelf buildings. Like I said, I've got some of it taped, but we're only about 3/4 of the way there. I hope to finish that up this weekend. And then we're going to start building the kitchen down in the basement. You're going to help me build some cabinets together. We're going to build cabinets, and which I've already got drawn out. These ones, unlike the shelvings out there that have just been kind of a fluent design as we go, like, oh, well, I'll do this instead of this, and because I need this instead of that. It's been a constant mutation in and of itself. The kitchen cabinets for downstairs, I have a firm idea in my head the way those are going to go, so we're going to run it that way. And we'll build the cabinets themselves. We're going to build the doors and all that. We're going to run some wiring for the stove. That's not hard to do, and it's something that I know I can do. And and then that way, and we're going to put some lighting in down in the basement to get better lighting down there, so that way when we're cooking down there, we can see what we're doing, not have any issues. And I think that's going to be all for so far. Now, we'll add more projects throughout the year, I'm sure. We got gardening. I actually started seeding and everything in February. And, with grow lights and heaters and things like that, so we can get those up and running, which is always good. And then we've got gardening coming up this year. We'll plant. We're going to do some raised beds. I'll show you how I do those. And hopefully by September of this year, I know that's 9 months away, we'll be able to purchase this house. Now, we are on a lease in this house until September of 2023. So, I mean, we've got almost 2 years before we have to decide whether to purchase the house or potentially move. But we really like this house. And if we buy this house, we're going to be doing all kinds of projects. The garage needs, re-sided. We're going to put an addition off the back. We're going to move the front door from the side of the house to the front of the house. We're going to learn how to put a porch on together. I mean, there's 1,001 things we're going to do. And I think that's it. But I really just wanted to kind of talk about the year, where we were at last year, what was going on, what our plans are for this year. Hopefully people will start getting vaccinated. There's been a lot of good too. I don't want to paint a completely negative picture of last year, although there's not been a whole lot of good to write about. But there are, just constantly stories of people helping people. There was a lady who, I don't remember what she does full time, but she bartends part time. But she started a organization that she raises money all year. So at Christmas time, she can go to different restaurants and tip people, really good, or just give them money. She'll walk into a fast food joint and give everybody $100. That's for Christmas. I think that's wonderful. That's helping out. And there are, people doing what I've been preaching now for the last 6 months, and, making a casserole and taking it somewhere, to make a friend, to, see old friends. I have found, I don't miss the house we were in. I do kind of miss the kitchen. It was a good sized kitchen. But I do miss the people that I was around. And that is one of my, resolutions for, I guess, this year, is to maybe see my friends a little more. I haven't seen my friends, it seems like, in forever, with the exception of a couple. And I don't have many close friends to begin with, but I would like to see them maybe a little more, even if it's just to go to lunch or whatever. I think that will be a resolution of mine that I hope I can fulfill. But I try very hard to not make my resolutions too crazy and obtainable. Maybe not easily attainable, like, I'm going to put this shirt on every Wednesday or whatever. But I always set goals for myself. You should set goals for yourself too. It gives you something to work towards, and achieve to make yourself a better person. All right. Well, I'm done rambling for today. Tomorrow for dinner, I think we're going to do one or two. I haven't decided which yet, but I'm leaning more towards a chicken stir fry. And with some peppers and some onions and some chicken and a really nice sauce over some rice, probably some fried rice. Or we're going to do a cast iron pizza. I'm going to show you how to make the dough. We've got a dough recipe that it's Chris's, and it is phenomenal. And we make it in a cast iron skillet, although I'm sure you could make it in any kind of skillet, as long as it's oven safe. And then Thursday, I'm pretty sure we're going to do a cake. I'm kind of torn between a yellow cake with some chocolate icing or something like that. I've got a hankering for it already, although I think I've already done a video on those. But I also thought about doing pecan squares, because I haven't had those in forever, and I love pecan squares. They're pretty much a hit anywhere you go. But, we'll see. Things are always adept to change, especially around here. So, until tomorrow for dinner, where we do one of two things, or maybe neither of those and something completely different, I love you. I love you very much. Tell somebody else you love them, and you love them very much. It's going to make their day just so much better, knowing that they're loved. I promise. If you haven't gotten vaccinated, please get vaccinated. It's important we come together for that, and I think that's a good neighbor thing to do. So, till then, tell your neighbor hi. Wave at him. Wave at a stranger. Tell them hi. Find out how somebody's day is going, and I will see you tomorrow for dinner. All right? I love you. Talk to you later.